Hi, my name is Mandolin Royal, and today I'm here with these three pullets before they leave. They're going to move to the city and make some breakfast eggs, but before they go, I want to talk about where they're similar and where they're different, and show you an example of the different types of body structures that can be out there. So these girls all hatched on the same day. They've been growing up together. But you can see two of them are pretty similar to each other, and then there's one that's very different. The one in the front, the short one here on the right, she is more developmentally grown. It's in her comb, her wattles, her fleshing. She's also got a heavier feel than the other two. And she's spending more time on gaining that maturity because she's shorter in height, plumper of body, and she's not spending too much time on tall skeletal growth. Whereas the other two, they're going to be big girls, and it's going to take them longer to get there. So I am going to pull them out one by one, and we'll get weights on them. I haven't done that yet. I want to be surprised with you guys. And then I'm going to talk about what they feel like. They're different. Even though they're out of the same flock, they picked up two completely different types of structure. So we're going to take a closer look. So I grabbed this small chunky one because I'm most curious about her first. Oh, you're okay. Come on. I know you don't feel like it, but it's what we do. Now settle down. These girls, they are 14 weeks old. This one's weighing in at 2 pounds, 12 ounces. She has a lot of body width. Yeah, you're cute. She has the football shape that I like to see, where they're wide out here, and then it tapers in, and then it tapers in. It really looks the best in the shrink bag. It's that recognizable chicken kind of shape, rather than a longer and more narrow type of carcass. The reason she's out for me is just leg color. She's probably, based on historical flock data, she may or may not hit the 5-pound mark when she comes into lay, and she's going to start laying sooner than the other two. She also has really good energy. But moving on to the next bird, and then I'll have some more notes at the end. Alright, I'm back with one of the leggy girls this time. She's a lot taller. Hold still. She's weighing in at 3 pounds, 1 ounce. The shape is different. She still has, hold still, what I like to see, but it's not as wide as the other. She is heavier, but there's a difference in bone. When I handle, I feel a lot more of her skeletal structure rather than fleshing. That's so neat. I love it when I get this kind of diversity coming from them, because then it gives me a lot to compare against, and I can start picking out what I want to see moving forward. You're being better behaved than the other. You don't mind this too much. And I'll show you why this one was out. The toes. Those two in her toes. She'll still be a good chicken though. So let's check in with her leggy sister. Well, hey, come back. It's real quick, I promise. Oh, you're okay. You're okay. I know, it's weird. You're alright. Just need to wait. I promise. Would you settle down? Or we're gonna have to do a take 2. Let me get your wings. I need to be able to let go of you for a second. 2 pounds, 15 ounces. Just one more time. Yeah, 2 pounds, 15 sounds right. So that's comparable, right at the mid-weight. And she feels different. So, I know, but it's important on you. Right down her keel on the belly, it's more prominent than the other leggy one. It's not buried in fleshing like on the shorter one. It's nice and straight though. Yeah. See, you can have belly rubs. But let me go ahead and change view. Show you guys the birds again. So that you can see those differences, because this will be a decision. They're not overtly tall. The other one's not overtly short. They're within range of the same spectrum. So that's going to boil down to your personal preference and which results you like better once you get them grown. Let me go ahead and switch over. One of the things I've noticed over the years is it's easier to achieve the straight-legged, wide-body look on the shorter birds. And there's a higher rate of knock knees in the taller, lankier birds. And it gets a little confusing watching them stand and move around, especially when they're in their awkward dinosaur phase. These girls are really quite similar to each other in their structure, and one was ever so slightly meatier than the other, but both of them felt more like a normal laying stock type of bird, if that makes sense. If you're familiar with handling birds, you probably know what I mean, but if you're new to it, these probably feel pretty similar to most of what you have. But this one, the little chunk butt, she did not weigh in as heavy as the other ones, and this is why sometimes the scale can give you a false illusion of what's going on, and that's why the feel test is so much more important. This one, while she was the lighter weight of the three, she has way better meat to bone ratios. Way better. If I didn't appreciate the pullets so much, I would probably have these plucked out so I could show you. But I'm going to use different birds for that. These, they're not bad. They deserve to go on and be productive and not go in the oven. Especially with how good their temperaments are. I'm going to wait for birds who deserve the stew pot to show you those variances between structure and your meat to bone ratios. It's really important. See the height difference? Same batch. Developmentally different. She's closer to the style that I like, because I do like a very fleshy bird. I mean, this is where our dinner comes from. So that fleshing portion matters a lot. She's probably going to start laying earlier rather than later. Maybe 16, 17, 18 weeks old. These are going to do it later because they're still growing. They're probably going to be more like 18, 20, 22 weeks before they start laying. They're probably going to end up much heavier as adults than what this one will. But since we like to look for processing ages in that 16 to 18 week category, this is where the selection comes into play to get that growth rate, to get a good table result in that time frame, or even earlier. The longer they take to fill in with meat, the longer you're waiting around for processing day. And when you start getting buried in cockerels and you're going through feed and doing a weekly run to the feed store, you start thinking about when can we process and lighten the load. So that's why I do prefer the fleshier, shorter statured faster growing birds. But she's not quite it. There's a in-between that I look for personally. So as these other girls that I'm hanging on to come up in age, we're going to talk about them. I'm going to show you what I keep for myself and why. These are not bad birds, but they're just not quite what I'm looking for. And that's the kind of stuff that I hope to teach on how to guide the flock and how to form it into what you need them to be. Down to the last little detail. Because that matters. When you're putting all your resources and your space into developing a flock, you don't want to cut corners and you don't want to hatch eggs and propagate just for the sake of propagation. Because you're missing the opportunities for building a better flock. It's not about reinventing the wheel. It's not about coming up with a new variety or anything like that. It's just keeping them true to form and function. And for the American Bresse, that is a really good meat to bone ratio. More meat and a fine, delicate bone. None of these are heavy boned, but there's a significant difference in the fleshing. And it's the little short round one that got all the meat. I do like them. But I gotta get picky. I am planning for next year. I gotta make space. So these girls, they're gonna have a new career. And their temperaments are gonna make that a pretty nice lifestyle for them. They'll probably muscle out the other girls for treats. It's usually how that goes. But feel free to like and subscribe as I go through this entire fall season looking for what's gonna work. Oh, this boy over here, he's in here because he got too big for his britches. He was causing a scene. He's pretty fleshy. That's good. I'm gonna start putting him on a finishing diet. We don't like bad attitudes.